Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our final match here for the 2019 Oceania Under-20 tournament at Bond University on the Gold Coast. My name is Martin Lippiett, and I am absolutely ecstatic to be bringing you the final match here between the Junior Wallabies and the New Zealand Under-20s, and they have headed out onto the field. And what a fantastic atmosphere it has been here at Bond University over the past 10 days. And now we're going to quickly run through the Junior Wallabies side taking to the night. A very strong looking forward pack. 4 Queenslanders packing down in the forwards, and the backs plenty of pedigree. We have Tristan Riley also. Keep an eye on him in the number 14 jersey. Rugby Australia Sevens pedigree. And over in the New Zealand camp, a very formidable forward pack. Keep your eyes on Cohen Herbert. Picked up 3 tries this tournament, and in the back line he is a crowd and online favourite. Lalamilo, he's picked up 3 tries in the tournament so far and debuted in the Mitre 10 Cup for Bay of Plenty back in 2018. Massive stuff. And I am joined here, Scott Young, 2 heavyweight titans in this competition taking to the field. Now, both sides have had big games and small games, so it's going to be a really good one tonight.
I think so. I think Australia's well prepared, having that very tight game against Fiji, even though they got up 16-0 in the end. But that was a tight game for them. And look, Australia beat New Zealand at this ground, I think it was 3 years ago. So can they do it again?
And we are seconds away from getting started here. And we are underway here, our final match for the Oceania 2019 Under-20 Championships here on the Gold Coast at Bond University. And the Junior Wallabies have fielded it just outside their 22, and now they begin the final match. McDonald, box kick off that left boot, rolls away, cleaned up well by Forbes. Forbes links across, good feet from Burke. Burke, who has 2 conversions and 1 penalty so far this tournament. Now, there's Finau. Carter is begging for it at the back. To the right, Ford gives it to McLeod. McLeod absolutely deadly over the last 10 days of play from Christ College. He is playing for Canterbury now. Junior Wallabies putting up stiff defence. Carter looks to the left, and Lalamilo spits it out. Knock forward. Scott Young.
Sticky conditions here at Bond. We had a fair bit of rain this afternoon, but good defensive start there by Australia. I like the way they were able to slow that New Zealand ball down at the breakdown. Some good tackling. And just
very uncharacteristic for Lalamilo, where he's a guy who's been huge for this Baby Black side in their last 2 matches.
Straight into the breadbasket and straight out. Uncharacteristic mistake by the Junior All Blacks. As we see the first scrum, as the referee today is Jordan Way from Australia, local Brisbane lad, features on the World Series Sevens. Michael McDonald feeding this scrum.
McDonald hails from Western Australia, has played for the Western Force, and that is a massive fumble there. Right, Lalamilo on the wing.
Good kick by McDonald there, putting the pressure on, and these conditions with fairly wet underfoot. I think it would suit New Zealand more than Australia. They're used to playing this type of conditions more than us, but...
Well, but the thing is, it was a tough competition, and there's been a lot of players that have stood up, and countries, they've had every kind of weather you can imagine. It's been cool, it's been warm, it's been wet, it's been raining, and now it's greasy. And it's great to see Michael McDonald. There was a fierce competition for that number 9 jersey, and McDonald came out on top. So I think he's going to try to play the house down tonight.
He impressed me particularly against Fiji the other night. Of course, came on late in the second half against the Japanese. Hale's originally from Ireland as well, doesn't he?
Carlington.
Yeah.
Carlingford, I beg your pardon.
Still has the Irish twang to the accent.
And has 2 sets of twin brothers.
Yeah, quite amazing. But
that's a lot of bunk beds. So scrum time here, most notably in the Australian U20 side. Nasser, Wood, Wilson, McBride, all hailing from Queensland, all playing the Premier Grade competition, all under the tutelage of Brad Thorne. So, a lot of familiarity there for those 4 forwards for the Junior Wallabies. McDonald throws it in. Goes around the corner, quick offload to Nwanganitawase. And they move up to the middle, taken well by Wood. McDonald looks to the right-hand side. New Zealand defence rolling through quite well. There's another hit up from Wood. He's getting his hands on the ball a lot tonight so far. Now Wilson. McDonald hunts to the left. Harris is there. Former Scots College. Hails from Townsville. Now they're moving up the middle with Lonergan, the country boy. There's a good hit from Nasser. And he'll get some support from Hosea. And a penalty going against the Junior Wallabies.
Disappointing. I think if Australia has any chance of beating New Zealand tonight, we have to make the most of every time we get into the 22. Just looking at the replay here, yeah, just slightly isolated there and not releasing the ball. But we have to turn that pressure into points if we're any chance of knocking them off. And that unfortunately means, Marty, every time we come into the 22, we've effectively got to come away with the points. But on that occasion we didn't, but let's see what pressure we can put back on.
It's been an electric opening 5 minutes of play for both of these sides. We look through this New Zealand team, Scott, and there's actually a bit of a pattern here. Cohen, Herbert, Leroy Carter, Lalumilo, Cole Forbes, all part of the 2018 Bay of Plenty under 19 team that won the Jack Hobbs Memorial. And then on another note, under coach Craig Philpott, the captain, Keanu Kareru-Symes, and substitution players, Jeremiah Moore and Danny Toala, all played under Philpott in that Hastings Boys High School first 15 that won the national title in 2017. So a lot of these boys have spent a lot of time playing with each other and against each other in their competitions. A little bit of a different story for the Australians. It's a bit of a mixed bag. We've got guys coming in from everywhere, but they seem to be gelling pretty well tonight. Yeah, definitely. And Philpott is an excellent coach from New Zealand. He's been around for quite a while. Now it's in the hands of the captain, Keanu Kareru-Symes, former New Zealand Barbarians school player in 2016. As I said, played under Philpott when he was in his high school years at Hastings Boys High School in the first 15. He fires it up and it's clean. Now to the left. Good strong run from Boschia. Looking to the left. Strong hit there from Tupaya. Carter. Backwards. Those greasy conditions we saw in the earlier match between Fiji and Japan really tested. That was a good hit up by Vai, straight into his opposite, Hosea. Now New Zealand. Take a settler in the middle of the field. The strike from Burke goes down, but it's fielded well by Nwanganitawase. Now, the Junior Wallabies back in possession, and Riley. Outside. And the Junior Wallabies looking sharp on this left-hand side. Good run from Hosea. McDonald fires it out to the right, and then it's given a good punt by Harrison. The man who didn't actually play any rugby in his high school. He said, I'm going to go straight to Colts. And got himself into the deep end, and hasn't it paid off now. Lucas offloads once more. Good line from Lalesio. They keep it alive. Another good run from Tupou. And the penalty going against New Zealand, not rolling away. A lot of positive body language out there from the Junior Wallabies.
Yeah, and Isaac Lucas, again, those little offloads here. You had them going the other night against Fiji. Sorry, it was Japan. Of course, plays for the Queensland Reds. One of 4 very, very good footballers from the one family.
And even though Isaac is the youngest, NRC last year for Brisbane City, Australian Under-20s in 2018, Australian Schoolboys in 2016.
Just look at him here there, just that nice little offload that creates that opportunity for the Junior Wallabies, and good work here. New Zealand lying all over the top of that, and referee Way has no hesitation in giving that penalty.
And Samisi Tupou there was at the bottom of it, and the last carrier for Australia hails from Albany Creek, which is north of Brisbane, just up the M1 from here. Now hunting for 3 to get the account open. And it's good. The Junior Wallabies.
Yep, Will Harrison, left footer, on target early. That's absolutely crucial when we get down and get those opportunities. 3-0 after 8 minutes. That's a pretty good start by the Junior Wallabies. Put real pressure on New Zealand at the breakdown, and we've seen a number of mistakes already by New Zealand.
And the high restart does not go as cleanly as the Junior Wallabies wanted it to, and it'll go through the back, but it's also going to be knocked on by New Zealand. So the Junior Wallabies not out of danger yet. They've got a scrum inside their own territory.
And the Junior Wallabies scrum the other night, particularly against Japan, struggled because Japan have a very strong set piece, and we saw them again today against Fiji. They scored a number of tries from pushover scrums. But the first 2 scrums the Junior Wallabies have held out. Let's see how we go with this one. I know there's been a lot of work done this week by the coaching staff.
Well, it's in front. It's Angus Bell, Lachlan Lonergan and Josh Nasser for the Junior Wallabies up against Ollie Norris, Keanu Kareru-Symes and Mighty Williams.
And Angus Bell had a very good game against Japan last Tuesday. So he's holding strong there. That's good work.
McDonald pulls it out. Now, Junior Wallabies. Into the pocket. Good strike from Harrison. Up, down, fielded well by Lalamilo. Takes it into traffic, but gets hammered by Will Harris. Out of the left, the flat-footed Cohen Herbert. Formerly of Downlands, loose ball out the back. It's off the boot of Harris. It's a foot race. Lonergan. And now the Junior Wallabies moving quick. They've got possession. McDonald scrambles into screen. Crossfield kick off Harrison. Players running on. Aerial contact, and it's going to be knocked on forward. And what a fierce contest that was, and now handbags are flying.
Isn't it good to see a bit of that happening early on in the game? A bit of, tensions are out there.
It's like Boxing Day sales.
It is. But right idea by the Junior Wallabies. They're going to the air, particularly in these greasy conditions, and already seen New Zealand made a number of errors handling-wise.
Tupou Va'ai is down. He's picked up 2 tries so far in the last 2 matches. He's got 3 matches also for Taranaki in 2018 for the Mitre Cup. And we see this. Lachlan Lonergan, the farm boy, hails from Williamsdale in New South Wales. Travels an hour to get to training.
And Will Harris, first man on the spot after him, as we see Harrison with the kick over.
I think Harrison's been watching the Japanese play the last couple of games. It's been one of their staple manoeuvres.
And who was it going high there? Nearly grabbed that ball.
I think it was Tristan Riley running in hard on that right wing.
Yeah, Riley's got some real pace, scored some absolute hummers of tries against the Japanese the other night.
Well, obviously, we said Tib Walsh releasing him from the Australian men's side. He is the 381st representative for the Australian men's 7 side. Debuted last year in Hong Kong. Actually also from former Knights development program. So a few strings in his bow, and that's a substitution there. Tupou Va'ai leaving the field.
So this Aussie scrum is holding its own here.
Carter's pressured in the back. He's got to go to the pocket. And he gives it to Scott Gregory, who has little to no time to exit.
See, that's the importance of having a strong scrum, isn't it? And New Zealand there, I mean, they got out of jail there with a reasonable kick in the end, but a poor pass by their halfback put a bit of pressure on the relieving kick.
So an attacking line out for the Junior Wallabies. Lonergan to throw it in. Oh, and it's been stolen by New Zealand.
Snapped at the front.
Read it like Dr. Zeus. Now they've got possession in the box kick from Carter. Great work from Tristan Riley. McDonald goes to the left off the boot of Harrison. He sees some real estate. They punch it for that corner. And that is pinpoint accurate by the Junior Wallaby number 10.
Yeah, Harrison dictating the flow of the game at the moment quite nicely. It was pretty smart. Saw that the winger had come off for New Zealand.
Great work there by the back three for the Junior Wallabies. Mark Nwanga, Nita Wase, Tristan Riley and Isaac Lucas. New Zealand feeling the pressure inside their own 22.
Thank you.
Reru Symes hits for now clean. Now New Zealand going to try and give themselves a little bit of breathing room for the exit. And it's a pretty good shake.
But this pressure Australia keeps them under at the moment. New Zealand haven't really been out of their own half, save for the last kickoff.
Okay, we're not going to have a huddle every time, okay?
Jordan Way.
Yeah, just making sure that the line-out's an interesting facet of the game, and the delaying tactics that teams use, and the huddle is, of course, no longer allowed.
And Harrison takes it to the line. It's read well. Good offloads.
It was Michael Wood.
The forwards.
Excellent offload by Michael Wood.
Inside ball hits Wood now. Ball spits out and the penalty goes against New Zealand.
You've got to think Australia will take the points here again. Yep. Particularly the way Harrison is kicking at the moment.
In the opening 14 minutes of play here, it's been all about the Junior Wallabies. They're maintaining possession and field position. And we'll see this one. Great 1-2 passing there. It's the second or third rendition of that we've seen so far from them.
That was Riley on that occasion. He's coming in off his wing. Good crowd in attendance, as you can see there. The main grandstand here is pretty full, and the other side as well. So,
well, it was pouring here at about 3:30, and it's cleared off. And it's definitely a little bit cooler. Perfect playing conditions. Harrison nails it through the uprights.
The radar's working perfectly for him tonight so far.
And the Junior Wallabies extend their lead 6 points to nil here in the 16th minute of play against New Zealand. Oceania Under-20 tournament here on the Gold Coast, Bond University.
It's all about pressure at the moment by the Junior Wallabies, and it's reaping the rewards. It's a great kick. Nearly to the halfway by Harrison. It's an incredible clearing kick.
That's going to be a New Zealand line out just outside the Australian 40. The New Zealand line out so far has been the dominant. Stolen one, haven't lost any. Reru Symes. They hit the 5 option clean out the back into the hands of Bosch here. Now they're into the middle, and Lalamilo. No thank you response from Harrison in defence. The Junior Wallabies throwing their defenders up with great speed now. Burke has no option, takes it himself. Advantage going against Junior Wallabies for not rolling away. Now New Zealand, they're getting some momentum. The left-hand side. Forbes jumped in and gives the ball off to Tupaya.
Yeah, no advantage coming there.
Jordan towards halfway, mate.
Well.
2 minutes.
New Zealand, not surprisingly, taking the points option here.
And that penalty going against Michael Wood. A bit lazy at the breakdown there. The former Padua graduate. Featured in the NRC last year for Queensland Country. Hails from Mornington, Victoria.
We see Michael McDonald. He's not short of a word hole. Mr. McDonald.
Doesn't sound like a halfback at all.
That Irish accent. Geeing the boys up.
And now New Zealand looking to get themselves onto the scoreboard. There's the strike. A howling kick from about 45 metres away.
Just out to the right.
There's not a lick of wind here tonight at Bond University. Weather has definitely calmed right down. Punching restart off the 22, and now the All Blacks, New Zealand side getting to work, and that'll be Boshier who took that first hit. Carter from the back, goes to the right. Here's Forbes injecting himself in, but he's sent backwards by Wilson and Harris. Now to the right, and it's slippery out there. Fergus Burke loses it, and the Junior Wallabies are letting him know.
Yeah, Wilson and Harris, they're combining beautifully, absolutely smashing them back, and then force the error.
Harry Wilson, Australian schoolboys in 2016 and 17. Played for Queensland Country last year. In 2018, hails from Tamworth. Great little part of the world, country New South Wales. And they're actually in this Junior Wallabies side, Scott, there is a really big representation of players that do come from rural and country areas.
Yeah, and if you look at the past history of Australian rugby, the number of Wallabies that have come from those areas. Of course, a lot of those clubs out in the country, they just keep their heads above water by a number of very enthusiastic volunteers. Fathers, mothers, yeah. You know, I really take your hat off to those people out there, particularly those in areas that might be impacted by drought, etc. recently, and then the floods. So.
Jordan Way keeping the peace out there. McDonald now puts it in.
Aussie scrum still holding strong too, Marty, which is great to see.
McDonald moves it to the right. Another good run from Wilson. McDonald, he pauses for a second. The pressure was on Harrison.
Yeah, and just that pressure, unfortunately, meant that he stabbed at it in the end, and that's gone out on the full.
And I wasn't sure who the New Zealand player was that was looking for that charge down, but great work there. He was going 100% for the ball. You know, because the last thing you want to see, a kicker's just getting wiped out by reckless charge downs. The right kind of pressure has yielded a good result for New Zealand. Now a line out just inside the Junior Wallabies half. To the low, that was a very good cut-out pass. They even got a bit of a touch on the middleman. Herbert found it though. Now to the left, Carter. Inside ball, great line by Finau, but it's a little bit too great, it would seem.
And just on the ground, knocking it on, but New Zealand at the moment, every time they get a bit of momentum, they make a mistake.
And I really want to take a bit of focus now on the body language between both of these sides. The Junior Wallabies, they're pretty amped up right now.
There's no doubts about that. I made that point earlier about getting points when we get down into into their half, into their quarter, and so far we're coming away with the points, which puts the pressure back on New Zealand. With 21 minutes gone, and it's 6-0 to Australia. This is a fantastic start, and one that Coach Gilly would love. Jason Gilmore, head coach of Australia Under-20 and the Junior Wallabies.
It was a good nudge from New Zealand, but the Junior Wallabies get it out pretty quick, and once again, Will Harrison takes it thundering up to the line.
Yeah, it was good work there by Dallas McLeod from New Zealand, who came in and tied the ball up, and then the maul was formed, and of course it collapsed, and it's a turnover.
Might just want to get a medic to check 10 black. He might have got a head knock.
I think we just heard that coming in from one of our sideline referees, Brett Cronin. He's drawing a bit of concern there for Fergus Burke, the number 10 for New Zealand.
Yeah, it fell heavily in back play there.
They're just getting him checked out. Obviously, good kicking record so far in the tournament. 2 conversions and 1 penalty, and represented the New Zealand Barbarian Schools in 2017. And Scott, as a referee, we'll take a second while we're in, someone's being seen to with injury. The importance in the modern game when it comes to head injuries and the steps that have been put in to maintain the safety of players.
Yeah, well, it's all about player welfare, Marty, as we know. And look, we can't take any risks with this, because what you see that a number of players, when they get a concussion, that it can be quite dramatic long term. And look, I know,
but it's things that you don't know about it until many years later.
Yeah,
and I
that's
guess,
right. You know,
and that's the scary part.
The
isn't
headaches, a loss of concentration and things. And look, one of our top referees, Nick Berry, actually suffered. He played for the Queensland Reds.
Yeah.
And ended up having to quit the game because of concussion. Yeah.
Pick your life or pick the game.
That's right.
But isn't it a great story of him?
Absolutely, yeah.
Another way
you've got
to
to
stay
transition to stay into the game, and
look where he is now.
Chance of going to the World Cup coming up this year. But that player welfare thing obviously is absolutely crucial to ensure the longevity of them as their careers and for their health long term.
Now we're back to the action. Carter on the back of a very stiff scrum. He gives it back to Boshier, who'll take it one-on-one against McDonald.
Aussie's just able to disrupt that ball at the back of New Zealand there, which has been crucial so far. But there's that mistake again.
And here we go, Angus Bell straight away. Oh, but Angus Bell's lost it.
Probably come back for the scrum, I'd hope. Yep.
Very encouraging signs here for the Junior Wallabies. Really the strongest side so far for the opening 24 minutes. They really haven't gifted New Zealand too many opportunities. We see this to the left. And the fumble there. Downey Plumtree, New Zealand Barbarian Schools 2017, also son of current Hurricanes coach John Plumtree.
So that game Australia had against Fiji, which ended up being 16-0 victory to Australia, I think was absolutely crucial for this team, because it put us under a lot of pressure. And New Zealand hasn't been under pressure as yet in this competition.
Now a very strong line from Tupou. Now to the left, running onto it's Wilson. They keep moving it down the left-hand side, and Nasser is free. But the ball's lost forward. New Zealand scrambling.
Stay last feet. Hold goal. Good there.
Into the pocket. New Zealand forced to hunt for the exit.
Yeah, so the first
you can hear the crowd on the eastern side here.
First real break in this game by Nasser, son of Brendan Nasser, the former Wallaby. Good break there. The ball just ripped out of his hands. So line out to Australia. More pressure.
Lonergan fires it in. It's not the cleanest ball down to McDonald, but he does well.
Yeah, that was nice work by McDonald then to regather that.
Hosea hammered into them that time. McDonald turns around, goes back to the left, finds Nasser. Nasser, they send him back. in their pilferings, Boschia.
Yeah, on their
And
feet,
successful.
well done.
Great pilfering there from the dual cricket and rugby union player for Taranaki, captain of New Zealand in the ICC Under-19 World Cup.
Taking after that famous All Black Jeff Wilson, who also played for their cricket team and the All Blacks.
The penalty goes against them. Bosch, there's another family name. His brother was in the New Zealand Under-20s in 2014, so a lot of pedigree, and we see a great crowd here at Bond University. The locals have really shown up in a big way. We see, watch this replay here, Scott, run us through it.
Yeah, a bit of a forward pass there anyway, and then you see Australia probably lucky not to be penalised there.
Trevor Hosea.
But Jose, he's over the ball, and that's the way referee Jordan Way saw it. So another penalty to Australia.
Hosea, a former BBC graduate from Brisbane, now plays for the Rebels, and his local team is the Melbourne Harlequin side. Schoolboy 2017, Junior Wallabies 2018. He's the tallest in the side too, Scott, 204 centimetres.
Massive man. And has had a good tournament so far. And he'll be crucial going to that Junior World Championship next month in Argentina. Straight over the black dot again.
Big strike from Will Harrison. That's his third tonight. Junior Wallabies in the lead, 9 points to 0 here in the 27th minute of play. New Zealand scoreless.
It's been all Australia here tonight.
And we'll head back to the middle. Fergus Burke, all cleared. With any potential head knocks for the restart. And Burke this time, he's going for the shorter option. Oh, and this
A big hit.
was a big hit on Lalacio. Now it's Bell.
Finau. Good hit by him.
And Harrison gives it to Lucas, who doesn't give the greatest offload himself.
Yeah, a little bit of the fumbles there for a moment. But
McDonald takes to the skies. Fielded well by Burke, who shrugs off two defenders. Advantage to New Zealand. Time to get some momentum. Herbert throws it on to Finau, who gets pile driven back into the ground.
high tackle there, according to referee Way. We'll just
Let's go back to this one, Scott. The short restart.
big hit. Pummeled him.
Timing was everything.
You say New Zealand teams love the short restarts, and they treat the restart as another opportunity to get that ball back, which is one of the benefits of rugby, of course.
I don't think you're the 4 or 5 champions this competition if you're not
That's
fighting
right.
tooth and nail every time you come back. Now this is the best attacking position for a New Zealand set piece this match.
Just outside the Aussie quarter, which is the first time they've been this far into Australian territory.
But it's been stolen by Michael Wood up high.
Beautiful jump by Wood there. Read it perfectly.
And now the box kick from McDonald. Got a lot of pitch, players are underneath, and Gregory fielded it very well, knowing that Tristan Riley was coming at him. Two men that I would be surprised if they haven't met on the sevens field.
Oh! Geez, there was the opportunity for the intercept for Australia, and he was away.
Oh, hold the phone. Lalamilo right through the middle. No one was watching him. The big man who's got even bigger legs. He's going, Lalamilo!
Tackle. Is that
Oh,
Lucas, I think, coming across with an absolute perler.
you could fit 2 Isaac Lucases inside one Lalamilo.
Let's just watch him come across here. The intercept was on for Australia there. Had Riley got that, he was away. It was Riley, wasn't it?
It was.
No,
Now watch this.
sorry,
Watch this from Leroy Carter. Absolutely brilliant. Saw it was in front of him. Lalamilo also saw it.
McDonald comes across, misses him, then watch Lucas. Perfect. And he went high enough to knock him into touch. Had he gone lower, I think that would have been a try. So that's the perfect tackle from Lucas. Superb counter defence. Cover, should I say.
Isaac Lucas, former Gregory Terrace graduate alongside Harry Wilson and Josh Nasser. Family is synonymous with the Sunnybank Club, the Queensland Premier Rugby competition. Now from the back. Australia looking to find a few extra metres inside their own 22, but McDonald had enough. Kicks it high, and Gregory.
Very good clearance by McDonald. He's having an excellent game.
I'm really enjoying, Scott, the duel between the far side, between Scott Gregory and Tristan Riley. I would like to think there's a bit of intentional positioning there to get the two sevens guys on one another. But so far, they've had a lot of contact in this game.
Yeah, I mean, both superstars, and so far, it's pretty even.
Another one.
It's Michael Wood again.
Michael Wood.
2 against the throw for Australia as McDonald puts the up and under.
It's an aerial comp.
Oh!
And
what's happened here?
I'm not sure.
Oops. Okay. Referee blew his whistle straight away.
I think something's happened there to Harry Wilson in the back play. We'll hopefully maybe get a replay of this to see what's going on. But I think the first point of concern is the results of that aerial contest between Riley and Gregory, but I think they're both okay. So now we're going to be...
Yeah, so it seemed referee Jordan Way believes he was taken in the air.
Pushing, lifting a little bit.
Yep.
I haven't seen where he's landed.
He's landed on his back.
On his back?
On his back.
Okay.
Yes.
Penalty only offence. Okay. So I'm going to reverse the penalty for the retaliation from Black. It'll be a penalty to goal.
Correct,
Yeah?
yes.
Thank you.
So really interesting one there, Scott. It looks like New Zealand was going to be getting the penalty for the player being acted upon in the air, but I think there was some kind of a reaction after the fact.
That's my situation. So first penalty would have been to Black for coming in and taking the man in the air. Okay. No, from goal winger. Goal winger taking your winger in there. So it would have been a penalty. 11's then come up and taken it into his own hands and retaliated, put him in a dangerous position. So it's going to be a reversal of the penalty because we don't need that retaliation.
Well, we don't really need that stuff either. We don't need to take me.
I agree.
Yeah, but he's pulled up.
No, I agree. I agree. But we don't need him retaliating and taking things into his own hands. Okay? So original penalty to Black. It's now going to be 2 gold. No, it's only a penalty of okay? So it's going to be a penalty 2 gold. Okay?
That's my opinion, mate. It's all good.
Hey, let's calm down.
Yeah.
Let's both have a chat to our boys.
Yep.
We had a little scuffle early on.
Yeah.
We've had another one now. Have a chat to the boys. There's no more of it, okay? Yep.
Next.
If you boys keep going, then I'm going to take it into my own hands and I'm going to deal with it, okay?
Yep, sweet.
Let's have a chat to the boys.
Just quickly. If that wasn't a tackle in the air and he did that, would that be a red or just a yellow?
I'm comfortable with the decision.
Right,
Let's
Too much debate going on here, Marty. I think we just need to get back to the footy.
And if everyone tunes in next week, we're going to have the conclusion to Australia against New Zealand for the Oceania. So let's run through this.
Here we see the replay
Take
here.
us through this, ref.
So it looks like both players have gone for the ball there, but so what referee Jordan Way has said that it was Riley, I think, coming through, wasn't it? Or was it 6?
So no,
the New Zealand player out in the air, and then
Gregory.
the New Zealand player then retaliated, so he's reversed the penalty. So let's get on with it.
Right. We're good. We're here. We're going to see the retaliation now, I think.
Yeah.
Right. You know, it's just, I think the sevens player showing that doesn't matter if you're a forward, I'll hold my own. So, but we've navigated through these waters, these treacherous waters here, and now it's a penalty to the Junior Wallabies here in the 33rd minute of play.
no, there's only 8. Yep.
Just under 8 minutes left in this first half, and Will Harrison looking for another 3. And his boot has been the difference between these two sides tonight on the scorecard. The boy that hails from Kingsford, New South Wales, gets another one. The Junior Wallabies extend their lead 12 points to 0 here in what has been the most fierce encounter of this tournament, Scott.
Certainly has. And we just saw that last little interchange between the players. At 12-0, Australia making the most of the opportunity so far. New Zealand will go short when they go in the middle.
Lalamilo flies through, and now the Junior Wallabies will take it over the sideline. And I guess that's the one thing about big, fast gentlemen like Lalamilo. Once they've got a full head of steam, sometimes it's
very hard to bring him down.
Well, it's a very simple just step to the left to get out of the way. Long line out
Michael Wood again.
Michael Wood.
That's 3 wins now.
He's a cat burglar of the lineouts tonight, Wood. Now Lonigan. McDonald goes to the box kick, very up and down. That is not the trajectory that he wanted, but the Junior Wallabies have come up with it. A great take from Nwanganitawase. Now Wilson. To the right. Wood slows it down. Now Wilson, another settler.
Leave now 3.
Yeah, best result there is blown unplayable. That player number 3 from New Zealand, Williams, had no opportunity to get out of there, trapped under the ball.
And that right there, that is an amazing ability there to take in all the pressure of what's happening, the moving kick, and you hear big Lalamilo romping and stomping down towards you to take it that cool and just take one very crisp step to the left.
And had he had someone inside, there might have been further gain for the Junior Wallabies.
Another scrum. It's been a while since we've had a scrum. It's been a fast first half here for both sides, and you can see the crowd is pretty big. It's filled up the stands. We've got people at the ends watching on.
Needs to be better, okay?
Where else would you want to be on a Saturday night? Don't answer that.
The only thing he's missing is a rum and coke or a beer over here, Marty, but I'm sure we'll get something like that after the game. There's another picture of the crowd fairly looking on.
Michael McDonald
Fine.
from Palmyra over in Western Australia plays for the Perth Spirit in the NRC, and now New Zealand getting the full arm penalty.
I'm not sure what referee Way has penalised here. We'll just have a look at the replay in a moment.
And that man there on screen, Cohen Herbert, former Downlands player, which is from the west of Brisbane, moved across New Zealand searching for development.
Yep, Toowoomba. Downlands College has produced a number of Wallabies. Garrick Morgan, Brett Robinson, Brett Johnston, just to name a few.
Now a big opportunity.
And, of course, Tim Horan as well. All former Downlands
And I believe
College
Tim
students.
Horan's father was the mayor of Toowoomba.
No, local member.
Local member
Yeah,
for
MP.
Toowoomba.
Yep. A real
I
rugby nursery.
actually commentated with 2 generations of Horan, and then called the third one playing the next day. It's a busy weekend.
It's a sign of respect that the fact that New Zealand have taken the points here.
Fergus Burke
It's out to the left.
pushes it to the left.
With the mocker on him.
Just the momentum for New Zealand has not been there tonight, Scott.
No, and a high error rate for New Zealand, which is uncharacteristic. We've seen that the 3 line-out wins to Michael Wood in the line-out. Because New Zealand did steal one of ours.
It's been a very fast-paced first half, and now Gregory, his first meaningful touch, and he makes some great headway. To the right, Forbes. Looks to the middle, great passing. They're going to keep moving it. Here's Plumtree. Wise goes back towards.
Yeah, good work by Australia, but I think you'll find that still a New Zealand throw. It is, yeah, just came off Michael Wood's head at the end. So good defence by Australia because it was on this side for New Zealand. They've managed to find a hole in the Aussie defence.
New Zealand move quick. And they found the player out the back now to the left. Straight in goes Lolamilo.
Yeah, Lolamilo again. Second time he's had a good run. Very hard man to bring down.
Carter, good momentum, throws to the left, skids out, but Gregory's there to clean it up. One-on-one with Riley.
Number 14.
Go, high. 14.
And Riley goes a little high on Gregory and forces a penalty. With left, and here's the... Oh, what are you doing, Will Harrison?
There's a minute and a half.
You never bring a
You've got
knife.
that running at you, it's pretty hard work, man.
You never bring a knife to a gunfight. Hoo-wee.
Go.
And now Carreras Symes, the captain. It's been a testing half for his side, and that's a fantastic take by Cullen Grace.
Here's the rolling wall by New Zealand.
And the advantage.
Yeah, Australia pulling that maul down.
And Nasser leading in with his head first there to try and slow it down.
That, man. 5.
Penalty going against Trevor Hosea for collapsing the driving maul.
It's such a hard thing to defend against the driving maul, isn't it, in the modern era? You get the teams that just get it so perfectly right, like New Zealand did on that occasion, and there's not much you can really do to defend it. Although Australia initially got the drive on, and then
that's the
penalty breakaway there. Yeah, number 5, you can see him pulling it down.
Now they've taken the front option.
Yeah, Australia playing the man in the air too there.
So Hosea, now New Zealand.
That's 1-9, going backwards.
Getting the nudge on, they know they've got the penalty.
Yes.
There's the half time on our clock. Carter, short line to Gregory. Gregory finds the 5-metre line. Carter goes himself straight into traffic. Picking and driving, there's Norris. Ball's been lost.
Bye-bye.
And that's a yellow straight away. 10 minutes.
Offside.
Certainly not what the Junior Wallabies wanted at this stage in the game. Just after I was about to say their defence is holding up as we see Will Harris off to the bin.
I had an advantage for it. Oh, yeah. We had an advantage. Had an advantage.
See there.
Yeah, Norris clearly picked the ball up in the ruck.
And now this will be a big test for the Junior Wallabies. 3 failed attempts at defending this New Zealand line-out so far. With half-time looming, New Zealand need to come away with something here. Can a 7-man Junior Wallabies scrum outfit hold out against a full-strength New Zealand scrum?
Well, so far this Australian scrum has held up strongly.
Take 100 kilos off the...
Yep.
Yeah, makes a big difference. And you see in Super Rugby, Marty, an average of 14 points are scored while a team is down 1 player to sin bin. So that's how tough it is.
What about last night, the Reds and Sunwolves?
Bind. Set.
Certainly a weird game of rugby, that one last night.
More red and yellows than a McDonald's logo. Good scrum from the Junior Wallabies. Put the pressure on and they get the advantage. And that is a massive event. That is a tectonic event in the landscape of this game. The Junior Wallabies pulling off a massive turnaround there at the end. What a massive 42 minutes. And the Junior Wallabies, round of applause for both sides as they leave the field. An entertaining first half and a lot of passion on that field. It is half-time here. The final matchup for the Oceania 2019 Under-20s tournament. The Junior Wallabies up against New Zealand. It is half-time. We're going to take a short break. We're going to be back soon. Don't go anywhere. The Junior Wallabies in the lead.
Yeah, so Harris will be in the bin for about another 8 minutes.
There is the restart from Harrison, and while we've got a second, let's look at some of the interesting stats that came from that first half with a line out looming. Now, the really interesting one in here is The line-outs, pretty even affair, and it was the same with the territory and possession across. I think the big one for me is it's the turnovers conceded, where New Zealand have given away 9-7, and the penalties won 8-7 in favour of New Zealand. So it's been quite a level playing field. I think the big difference is it's the strategy to the game, and Australia's strategy is what has them 12 points in the lead.
Correct. Yeah, and look, the other thing is those 3 line-out wins that Australia had in the first half were crucial in adding more pressure.
And substitutions, we remind everyone at home the total team list for the competition has been 28 players per side. Still, they're only able to access 8 players of that 16 to 28 bench. But there are more options for the coaches to figure out what the best course of action is to get their team across the line after 80 minutes. Now still a man down, the Junior Wallabies put it to the foot. It goes up, and Cole Forbes takes it well, but he's monstered. Now the drive is on from the Junior Wallabies. Here's Plumtree.
Good kick and chase, and there's unfortunate ill discipline by Australia there with a high tackle.
And it comes from Josh Nasser, son of the Wallaby and Queensland Red, Brendan.
Junior Wallabies just giving away a few penalties just prior to half-time. They need to just be conscious of their discipline, particularly in the time that Harris is still in the sin bin.
Nasser seatbelts him a little bit high there. And now the Junior Wallabies will defend against an attacking New Zealand line-out. Kedru Symes.
Just hearing over the PA system, the number of World Rugby executives that are here this afternoon, this evening, including the CEO, Brett Gosper.
And some scrappy play from the Junior Wallabies. Lachlan Lonergan, 2 bad penalties have piggybacked New Zealand right down the field.
And just what we don't need when you're down 14 to 14 men.
And a great crowd here. And a bold statement here from New Zealand. Fergus Burke kicking for the corner. Now, there's about 20 metres as the crow flies between the New Zealand forward pack and the try line right now. So your eyes would have to shift out and see what's happening in that back line. Are they going to look to try and make something happen there?
Well, New Zealand teams are masters of working the 10-minute when a team is down a player. Let's see what happens.
Taken well by Fee now. Now the driving maul. They found 5 metres. They're holding it together well. There's 10 metres. New Zealand in the driver's seat. They're getting pushed backwards and over to the side. It fractures. They maintain possession after finding about 10 metres. Now, in pods of 3 they march. Here's Plumtree. Great work here from New Zealand. 7 metres out. Another 3. They're picking their channels wise. There's Boschia.
Yeah, the knock on.
And that's a good result for the Junior Wallabies. They would have felt that try line pushing up behind them, just like the trash compactor in Star Wars. May the 4th be with you.
All the momentum there was with New Zealand. There's that one maul that initially started, which Australia counteracted. You can see the pick and drive here by New Zealand knocking it on. Crucial defence there by Australia.
A big scrum for the Junior Wallabies. They pushed back. New Zealand scrum with only 7. And they hold their own with the same number. McDonald puts it in. The nudge is there from New Zealand, but McDonald does well to get it to his old mate Will Harrison, who kicks for touch.
Pretty good clearing kick from Will Harrison.
About 3 minutes remaining for this Junior Wallabies side before they're back at full 15-man capacity.
I'd like to see them pinch another line-out throw here from New Zealand.
And there's a lot of chat coming
to the back
from the punters on the fence.
There it is.
And Lonergan swoops around, flies in and gets an important loose ball. And they were stunned for a second there. Now the Junior Wallabies looking out. Here's Lucas. Lucas sends it out once more. Riley throws it onto the right foot. Now foot races on.
It's a great kick. Oh.
And the ball's been fumbled by McLeod. Opens the door.
Well, the New Zealand line-out's in a little bit of disarray again early in the second half, and that's what started that whole movement for the Junior Wallabies.
And I think it started all the way back at that breakdown where they all went a bit premature, then they retreat back like they all hit an imaginary force field.
But the overthrow at the line-out too, Marty, was crucial.
Here it is here.
Yeah.
And
crowd were yelling for offside, which it wasn't. Out to Lucas. Beautiful pass.
And Riley. Gregory was hot on his heels on the inside. The crossfield kick. Lucas realises he's offside, doubles back.
And is it good to see an Australian team kicking sensibly and attacking from a kicking option as well, because we don't see that all that often. Here's McDonald.
Again with only 7. The Junior Wallabies holding their own at scrum time. It's a masterclass. Hosea now. To the right-hand side goes Wood. Wood's a metre short. Rolls over the top. Lonergan.
No room there. Good defence by New Zealand.
The Junior Wallabies burrowing in, trying to find that line. There was millimetres in it, and Jordan Way, our referee, will call it held up.
Good work by the Junior Wallabies, but equally strong defence there by New Zealand. Pick and drive didn't quite work for us there.
And it's really interesting that with only 14 players, they seem to be playing more bold than they did in the first half when they were this close.
They're actually playing like New Zealand teams play when they're down a man as well, because you see them pick up as well, because they know that on average 14 points are scored. So you've got to have your wits about you when you're down a man, and this Junior Wallaby team is certainly showing that.
And it's a big statement here, obviously World Cup leader in the year. And they slip Wilson onto the back of the scrum to try and shore it up, but now a really good shove from New Zealand.
Yeah, you can see that coming.
A massive shove. And you've got to ask the question, is Will Harris nearly out of the naughty corner and back on the field? And what a big scrum it was. Now, you've got to ask the question to you, Scott. Will Harry Wilson, I beg your pardon, moves to the back of the scrum. Do you think that it unbalanced the scrum and they really were weak on that left-hand side?
No, they definitely needed to bring that player in. It looks like he's coming back on the field now, Will Harris. I think that it was smart work by New Zealander. Yeah, as we see, Harris is back on the field now. That's crucial. That no points have been scored during that period.
And Coach Craig Philpott will be very aware of that fact. And obviously coming back at Will Harris, former Scots College, plays for East down in the Shute Shield. Comes from Townsville, and he actually captained Scots in 2018. Played for the NRC and Sydney Rays in 2018. It's a very Queensland-orientated forward pack. And then it's a real mixed bag in the back line. Pretty much one from everywhere. Jordan Way gives a short arm. The early push there from NASA.
Yeah, the pre-engage, which referees have been asked to be tough on.
Okay, so it'll be their ball. He can't kick it out on the full though, yes.
And is that an evolution of the rules? Because obviously we don't see the teams really colliding into one another anymore. So there is that.
Times have certainly changed, Marty. When they used to charge at each other, it was like two rhinos, wasn't it? And of course, when you think about it, the weight in the scrums is well over 800 kilos each scrum, and there's a lot of pressure that goes into that. We see Lucas
cutting through.
Geez, he impresses me as a player. He's just so.
Nasser runs a little bit high at Norris. Ball's lost out forward. So they'll dial it back for a scrum here as we enter the 51st minute of play. The Junior Wallabies still in the lead, 12 points to 0 against New Zealand here at Bond University for our final match of the 2019 Under-20 Oceania tournament.
Yeah, the Junior Wallabies just need to tighten up a little bit here. Too many errors early in this second half and not really making the opportunity of that scrum they had a couple of minutes ago right on the New Zealand line, as we see the subs 1 and 3.
Ollie Norris and Tamatai Williams leaving the field for New Zealand, getting some fresh legs into their front row.
Not surprising given how Australia was quite dominant in the scrum in the first half.
And the penalty advantage going to New Zealand. A kick it downtown, but and an instant change in momentum for the scrum once the substitution front rowers came on. I believe it's Charlotte Klein and Kaliopasi Uliakepa. I beg your pardon, George Dyer is on the field. And this scrum here, Scott, very, very strong from New Zealand.
Yeah, those subs paying dividends for New Zealand. I think you said at halftime, Marty, that you wouldn't be surprised to see New Zealand make the subs in the front row, and sure enough, the 50-minute mark they were made.
Taken well by Plumtree.
And momentum's shifted a little bit back towards New Zealand now. Australia needs to get their hands on the ball, and well, there's the opportunity again. It's just a poor pass by New Zealand.
They're the two subs. It is George Dyer in the number 17 jersey and number 18, Kaliopasi Uliakepa. Dyer from went to St Paul's, now plays for Waikato. And one of his favourite players, Owen Franks. Loves the physical presence he brings around the park, so I'm sure young George Dyer will try to do the same out here.
The error then, New Zealand just overrunning the ball, and sub at halfback for New Zealand as well. We see
Leroy Carter leaves the field. It'll be
Funaki.
Funaki coming on.
Yep.
And he was really impressive the other night against Japan. That formidable box kick he had, really getting his outside backs into the game.
Impressive pass and running game as well, yeah. This New Zealand scrum's all over.
Oh, there we go.
Not pushing straight there.
You got to ask the question now, Scott. Do we see Australia starting to rotate maybe some of that front row cattle to try and even it out a bit?
Stop that momentum that New Zealand currently has. Or certainly we need to lock those scrums up. Here's an opportunity though with Australia getting back into. You just see this scrum, New Zealand just walking around, pushing, not pushing straight. Easy penalty.
And it's back to Lonergan. Throws a nice ball to the middle, and once again, Wood takes it clean, but it's lost forward.
So both sides struggling a little bit with their handling again in the second half. Perfect opportunity for Australia then.
Here's McLeod. McLeod sent backwards. The New Zealand backline has been awfully quiet over the last 35 minutes.
Well, they simply haven't been given the opportunity, Marty, which is a huge testament to Australia.
There's Grace. Funaki trying to spark The New Zealand side looking for the little pass in behind play. Now Gregory finds himself in possession. He's got Boschia running on the inside. Boschia.
Good work into touch.
And that'll be interesting which way it goes, and it'll go towards the Junior Wallabies, that one. So the Junior Wallabies will take a quick line out, and they're moving it through the middle.
Dangerous here for Australia.
Tupaia managing to regather it. Funaki looks to the left. Ulia Kepa looks for the offload, manages to regather it. Ulia Kepa still going. The wheels are wobbling on both sides here. Now a good tag team hit with Harry Wilson in the lead.
Harry Wilson, just line him up.
Funaki gets taken high by Lonergan. Bit of a seatbelt there.
You think New Zealand would take the points here?
I think Fergus Burke, he's missed 2 tonight though. And the time will go off. And it's been a really interesting start to the second half here, Scott. The first half, a lot of control, but we see here a lot of play being started and stopped from, we're seeing knock-ons, we're seeing penalties coming out. It hasn't been a clean opening to the second half.
That's right. Australia not as disciplined as they were in that first half. And like New Zealand, they've made the handling errors with the ball. Of course, Australia had one great opportunity with a scrum 5 metres out. But were pushed off the ball by New Zealand. New Zealand have made the subs in the scrum, which has made a difference.
Here's a fresh sub for them, number 22, Jeremiah Moore. He was under Coach Philpott in 2017 when Hastings Boys High School, first 15, won the national title.
So New Zealand going for the line. They're looking for that try.
That man on screen, Tristan Riley, he's been electric in attack and defence so far this match. Been a great duel with fellow Sevens player Scott Gregory. Former hammer thrower Gregory was back in school. Now, here we go. New Zealand, Funaki.
Certainly since Funaki's been on, there's a little bit more spring in the step of the New Zealanders.
Now in pods of 3, Ulia Kepa from the back. They're driving forward. This is looking dangerous for the Junior Wallabies. Followed up by Dyer. He finds a metre over the advantage line. New Zealand pressing Plumtree. He's a little bit isolated here.
Yeah, Plumtree looked like he had a second go at that ball, and Australia have won that back. That's great work.
Now McDonald.
Hint of offside there by the New Zealanders.
And you've really got to ask that question now. New Zealand with a potential kicking opportunity for 3. They went for the line out once again, not coming out with points. Sure, they got another line out. Do you think they need to rethink the approach?
No, I wouldn't be if I was them. I think you're seeing Australia tiring a little bit at the moment, and that's what they sense. Of course, New Zealand have gone to the bench quite early. And there's that line out. Could have been a win. There's a knock on. Yeah. So that's knock on by Australia first. But look, the game's just not going anywhere at the minute. It's riddled with errors.
It's been very forward orientated.
Yeah.
Over the last 40 minutes of play.
I'm happy with his setup, okay? I'm happy with the stability.
It's still 12-0. The momentum in terms of the scoreboard and pressure is with Australia.
And that was close there for Trevor Hosea.
Yeah, Hosea, nice leap. New Zealand's line out hasn't been fantastic.
Harry Wilson
giving it to his fellow forwards.
And you'd expect nothing less. The Gregory Terrace graduate, plays for Brothers. Really revving the engine of the forwards. McDonald getting in on the action too.
Strong scrum by New Zealand.
Quickly
State.
off the back is Boschia. Boschia, he's a little bit isolated. Plumtree with reinforcements. The new man, Mua, goes in with another 2 on each hip. Ulia Kepa. New Zealand pressing and pounding away on the Junior Wallabies defence line.
In the second half.
Offside?
Offside. Then also
Just that one there?
Yeah. Need to clean up now, Fraser.
Fraser Mink right there, haven't have a word. They have bled a few penalties inside their own 22.
They have in this second half. There's been a lot of pressure by New Zealand, and I would imagine New Zealand would take another scrum here, Marty. Yep. Keep that pressure on.
Big impact by Kaliopasi Ulia Kepa for New Zealand in the number 18 jersey. Attended Morris Brothers High School over in New Zealand. Former Fijian age group rep. And it's his second year in the under-20s, and he's got 2 matches for Wellington in the minor 10. So he's having a big impact here in the second half.
So Australia still haven't used any subs. 60 minutes, you got to think we're close.
Missy Tupou on screen there.
The scrum's been difficult with it fairly soft underfoot.
Just have a chat to you about space, and then both of you, all 6, all went in on each other, okay? Have a chat to your boys. We need to clear the gap between Bond and Seth, okay?
The dark arts of the front row.
Game within a game.
We are watching on side as well.
In essence, they are the legit front line of a rugby side.
Certainly are.
What a great
In
side
the trenches.
Just saying what a great side here it is at Bond. Huge crowds, kids playing. A wonderful turnout for our final match of the tournament. And New Zealand now, once again, knocking on the door. 5 metres out. Scrum to feed. Funaki puts it in. The Junior Wallabies, they're trying to lock it out. New Zealand get the advantage. At the back is Boschia. Quickly to the right they go. Ball is lost.
Yeah, well, the Aussies walked around there, unfortunately, but look, they're still stopping this momentum, but they've got to watch themselves now because they're starting to get into dangerous territory for possibly another person going to the sin bin. And what do you think New Zealand are going to do, Marty? I know what I'd be doing.
They're hunting for the mustard, Scott.
Well, let's have that scrum.
Over here, boys. So you're not setting up.
And the Wallabies did well there to hold out for as long as they did, but fresh bodies within that scrum are paying off in a big way for the visiting side. And another scrum. Taufa Funaki, first year out of school. He's in the 17-18 New Zealand schoolboys team, feeds it from the back. And now the scrum's been lost. And here comes the counter from the Junior Wallabies. Great response there from Will Harrison. Gets onto it quick. And now it's a foot race into the back. And the Junior Wallabies, those backs, they've been sitting there collecting dust for about 15 minutes. And now they've sprung to action on the back of the good work done by their forwards. Funaki throws the box kick with a charge down. The Junior Wallabies are on a roll. Harrison finds the ball. They're going to keep moving. Donald fires it out. Crossfield kick. The man's out there, Riley takes it! That's really good! Wowee, Tristan Riley!
Crowd's on its feet. That's superb by the Junior Wallabies. All came from a strong scrum back on their own 5 metre line. 17-0. The momentum's really with the Junior Wallabies now. How good is this kick across?
Oh, I can't wait to see the comment threads on this one.
Michael Wood. Beautiful kick. Knew what was on. Goes high. Aussie rule style. Over.
And I've been talking about it all game. Gregory and Riley on that wing, both of them so competent in the running and the kicking and the catching department. It's been such a good duel.
Yeah,
such a good duel. But Tristan Riley.
The perfect kick for Riley. Leaped high. Never in doubt.
Hales from Southwest Rocks. Probably does a few of those into the oncoming surf to get out there into the break, I imagine. But what a take.
Yeah.
Crisp. And that's a big reward for the hard work done by the Junior Wallabies forward pack, grinding out for about 10 minutes of scrum work up the other end for so long.
New Zealand had all that pressure down the other end, and quite heartbreaking for them.
And now the conversion. Will Harrison.
First one that he's missed tonight, just away to the left there. 17-0, 16 minutes to go on the clock.
And the interesting thing is, I wonder now if we're going to see the rotation of subs for the Junior Wallabies. 64 minutes in with not many new additions.
Well, no signs yet on the bench. New Zealand goes short.
Pokey kick from Berg, fielded well. As the clock winds down, there's still a lot of time left in this match, and New Zealand are dangerous. This time, it'll be Harrison going to the skies. It's fielded well out the back.
Big hit there by Josh Nasser.
And Funaki to the left. The 1-2s, ball spat out by Dyer, and the Junior Wallabies are firing on all pistons.
Two big hits there, first by Nasser, and I think the second one was by Wood. You see these guys.
In the last 10-15 minutes, the Junior Wallabies have found another gear and they lifted it up. New Zealand were coming back into the fray, but the Junior Wallabies have really stepped it up.
Yeah, just look at this first hit.
Wilson again.
Was Wilson.
Harry Wilson. He's a man possessed. It's about his 100th solid connection tonight. And he's the G-up man out there as well.
So I think you see down back play is Will Harrison.
I think he might have a bit of a cut to his pretty face, which is never good for a back. For a back. It's their money maker.
That's exactly right. The end of the modelling career.
Yep. He'll be playing in the front row in no time.
Still no sign of any subs on the Aussie. Oh, there's somebody warming up now.
Yeah, there's
one of the second rowers.
Yeah, that might be S.A. Hungana from the Melbourne Rebels.
So Harrison getting it is Harrison yet?
Yeah, I think he might have
a bit of a cut to the head.
And you can see that big grin on Harry Wilson up the front.
Yeah, Harry Wilson's the mine been one of the best in the forwards for Australia tonight. Some big hits, some good carries.
All good.
And the game is paused for a second as we wait to bring it back. Jordan Way. You just see a pod of Junior Wallabies coming back from a warm-up run around the field. You can only imagine that we're going to see some substitutions soon. It's been a big 67 minutes for the Junior Wallabies. We'll be back down for another scrum. Short arm this time going against. Go back to the pre-engage.
Same thing, consistent. Australia were penalised for that earlier in the half.
Now, this is bold. This is really bold. You have 8 men on the field, 67 minutes deep in what has been a terribly physical competition for both forwards, and after receiving a penalty just inside New Zealand territory.
It was a free kick though, Marty, remember, so they can't kick for touch, so I get it.
Yeah, it's bold. It's so bold.
Well, the only thing is, if New Zealand infringe again with the pre-engage, it then becomes a penalty. The referee not quite happy, and there goes the ball now.
Jordan Wave, good work from McDonald, pulls it out. The recently bandaged Harrison throws it onto the foot. It's going down deep for Cole Forbes.
That's a good, is that?
Will Harris going over the top. And
Will Harris and
Harry Wilson.
And Harry Wilson.
And there's the clearance from Burke. It's fielded well.
Going to go for the quick throw. They decided against it.
And Will Harrison. And what an absolute treat this match has been for all the locals that have come out tonight. All the boys on the back fence there behind Lachlan Lonergan.
Yeah, Bond University, great supporters of rugby in Australia. And he's the first sub for the Junior Wallabies.
And coming on, looks like Bo Abra.
Was going to come on, yes he is, number 17.
It's Bo Abra, a real country boy, another boy from Tamworth, played his junior years for the Tricolours Junior Club in Tamworth, played for the New South Wales Cockatoos. And his granddad was captain for the Kangaroos. Rugby league, there you go.
It's impressive pedigree, isn't it? New Zealand also made a sub then. Their hooker's gone off and 16 has come on.
Captain Kareru Symes has gone off and Shiloh Klein has now entered. And now the Junior Wallabies, their first real shake at a driving maul, and it's lethal. Lonergan's at the back, ball in hand, and they have fractured the New Zealand defence around them. They still go forward with momentum. That's a massive driving maul. There's a run from Hosea.
Well, momentum's really with this Junior Wallaby team now. You go back to the penalty. That is sensational maul by Australia. The beautiful driving maul. New Zealand had nothing to combat this. Look at this, Marty. Pictures speak for themselves.
Runaway train in the middle of the night. And that was just never going to sail from Kaleopasi Ulia Kepa.
Beautiful setup there by Australia with the ball right at the back. Just the breakaway there.
And they're going to move back for that line out. Time to see if they go once more for the driving maul option. Lonergan fires it in, taken clean by Wood. He set it up. It doesn't have the same start it did, but it's moving forward nonetheless. Now, it's only a tackle. McDonald tells them to get round. There's Wood. Wood goes a little bit high. He still goes forward, but I think he cops an Ulio Kepa knee to the head. 1-2 into corner. McWright goes through. McWright scores! The captain!
Sensational. Australia giving New Zealand a bit of its own medicine here with this maul and this forward rush. In the last 10 minutes, this Australian forward pack have really stood up. Look at this.
And we talked about going into the second half how there were a lot of statistics from that first half that were very even. Pretty much 50-50 each way, possession, territory. But the Junior Wallabies, they took their opportunities, those penalties, when they could to get their points on the scoreboard. They found 12. But come into this second half, it's unbelievable the effort that we have seen from this forward pack. And now we're seeing subs coming on for Australia. Pat Tarfer, another player from the Waratahs, hails from Brisbane State High School, plays for the northern suburbs in the Shute Shield. But that right there, Fraser McWright, the captain, leading from the front.
But how about the pass from Michael McDonald? It was superb. It was beautifully timed. It was just a little
and he was
one.
Under an incredible amount of pressure because he had no defensive structures in front of him to, protect him.
Absolutely, and I think that's one of the things I've been impressed by McDonald in the game he played last week, was how good he is under pressure, because the Australian forward pack was struggling against Japan.
Another substitute there for New Zealand, Rivez Rehana coming on in the match on Tuesday. An impressive 11 from 13 conversions put through, so we're seeing a full field of substitutions coming on for both sides, and McDonald has been selling that like house insurance to a man whose house is on fire all night. The New Zealand defenders have been getting caught off guard. And McWright again, you can't slow him down. McDonald looks to the left. Loose ball, it's dropped. Now the knock-on advantage to New Zealand. 8 minutes remaining in play. The Junior Wallabies up 24 points to 0. And we're going to try and play a bit of catch-up here on some of the substitutions on both sides.
Well, you got to say this game is gone now for New Zealand, and it's a big call, I guess, Marty, to be running New Zealand team, but this Australian team really in the last 10 minutes has gone up a notch.
It was an incredible 60, pretty much a 65, 67-minute effort from the starting side for the Junior Wallabies, and in this day and age you usually see a lot of rotations happening around that 60-minute mark, so you've really got to appreciate the depths that they dug to put this together.
There's another free kick for the pre-engage. Australia lucky not to be penalised, actually, if it's the second one. They've held that maul up there by...
And
it's good work.
And it just doesn't stop. The Junior Wallabies, they haven't finished yet. There's still 7 minutes. Harry Wilson. I don't think Harry Wilson realises that they can hear him, because he has just been up in their faces all night.
Well, he's been the star for the Australian forward pack. There's no doubts about that. I mean, there's been a number of others that have been good, but Harry has had a seriously good game. 24-0 after 73 minutes. Wow.
Michael McDonald has been the linchpin between the forwards and the backs tonight. He's had a really good match also. But now New Zealand just got to get themselves onto that board. And the man with the ball in hand, Rivez Rehana, made some serious magic happen on Tuesday night, and that is a brilliant kick for touch.
Just got some black subs coming in.
By the fly half, and it looks like there's another round of substitutions for New Zealand as well. On that back line, Danny Toala is also on the field. And jogging on now is Simon Parker for New Zealand. Simon Parker.
New Zealand must be close to have exhausted their bench.
Good line out to the front, taken by Grace. Now New Zealand. Ball in hand, they've got momentum going forward. It's getting
That's great work,
strong.
Australia. Yeah.
Great work there by Josh Nasser. Really got behind that and pushed it out to the side. Just derailed New Zealand once again. Another attacking opportunity goes wanting.
Can Australia hold New Zealand to 0?
I'm not a fortune teller, Scott. Harry Wilson, though. Now, Waddingham sends it up.
Wood again. He's been phenomenal in the line out. Pinch 3 of the New Zealand throws, and has been strong on our own throw as well.
And Michael Wood has been really good in those lineouts, and Michael McDonald equally as so at halfback. The real linchpin between the forwards and the backs. But it's been a quiet half for the backs.
Yeah, the game has been played in the forwards, and not surprising given how well the Australian pack has gone.
Number 19, S.A. Hangana on for the Junior Wallabies, and McWright, the captain, will clean up the scrappy throw.
Yeah, more poor work by New Zealand in the line out, unfortunately, and
Wilson now. Wilson, impressive. Ball is lost. As we enter the final 4 minutes of play here at Bond University on the Gold Coast, our final match of the Oceania 2019 Under-20s tournament. And both of these sides, a very interesting journey to get here.
You see Wilson running that ball up strong again.
And the new man, they say Hangana, will lose it forward.
So we do have a change at halfback for Australia as well. Henry Robertson is on. Placed the impressive Michael McDonald.
Henry attended St Paul's School. He's from Scone in New South Wales. Played for the Scone Brumbies Rugby Club. Now Gregory. He's brought down. New Zealand with just over 3 minutes remaining. Lose it forward, and it's picked up well by Abra. Another impressive kick from Harrison downtown, but it's fielded well by the man who's been pretty quiet this match. Lalamilo will not be adding to his 3-try tally from the tournament. Now Grace. Grace gets through one defender. Brought down by Lonergan. And there we go. That's another fantastic turnover at the breakdown. Abra. And the Junior Wallabies, 2.5 minutes as the crow flies left on the clock. Wilson finally misses one after 77 minutes 40. Manaki down the right-hand side. He is slippery and gets through 2 defenders. Now to the left, Ulia Kepa. Taken low by Nasser. It's a good run from Tuala, takes it to the line, still going through. Defenders pretty tired. Manaki looks to the left. Fires it. There's Plumtree. Plumtree's had a big 60 minutes. Coming on midway through the first half. Out to the left. This looks good. A good line from Tupaya. Ball's been lost forward.
Story of the night for New Zealand. Gain a bit of momentum and then lose the ball. Good defence by Australia. 1.5 minutes now left in this match. Go back to that scrum just before half-time. Marty with Australia down to 14 men. New Zealand feet on our 5-metre line and a pushover scrum to Australia, and the score remained 12-0 at half-time.
And even in the opening 10 minutes of this first half, we saw New Zealand, they started rallying, they started coming back, but the continuation, and those 3 on screen, Wilson, McWright and Nasser, 3 huge individual efforts today. Really the embodiment of this Junior Wallabies side. It's a big statement with the World Cup just around the corner.
Massive statement. We don't beat New Zealand teams often, and particularly not this well. And this is a very, very good result for rugby in Australia.
And the eyes of the world, the rugby world, will be watching this match tonight in preparation for what's to come down the line. And that will be full time. And the Junior Wallabies have gone through undefeated and taken down the 4-time back-to-back champions New Zealand in the final match here for the 2019 Oceania Under-20s tournament. Scott Young, what a fantastic performance by the Junior Wallabies.
Unreal. That was just magnificent. 24-0. As I was just saying, it's not often that we beat New Zealand teams, but to beat them 24-0, that was just a phenomenal effort by a magnificent and well-prepared team by Coach Jason Gilmore and his coaching staff. Some pretty impressive players out there tonight too, Marty.
That man on screen who's just left the screen, Harry Wilson, had an absolutely massive game. You saw it from the beginning of the match. He was he was the G-up man. He was the go-to guy. And the thing was, he backed it up with a physical performance. You can be as loud and in the face as you want, but you've got to back it up with the performance. And Harry Wilson was beyond immense tonight.
Yeah, and he's easily seen because he wears the red headgear, and he was everywhere tonight. He was in defence, he was in attack, he was running, he was passing, and for mine, he was the player of the match. But, gee, I was also impressed with Michael McDonald at halfback.
I was just about to say that.
He led the team very well there. We got the forwards G'd up. Wood in the lineouts, the 3 wins against the New Zealand lineout. Now that's phenomenal work as well. And then Will Harrison as well, I think at 10, topped off a good tight 5 performance with his kicking at number 10.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, we'll invite the CEO of World Rugby, Mr. Brett Cosper, and the Mayor of the City of Gold Coast, Mr. Tom Day, to present the Oceania Under-20s Championship Cup. A round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, the winners of the 2019 Oceania Rugby Under-20s Championship. We also acknowledge the participation of New Zealand, Fiji, and also Japan. Can we please give them a round of applause?